you are hearing me now clearly. We will start the session. That is very much clearly we want to know about the mantra, yantra and tantra. I think we are all having a different kind of time zone in the meeting. So the clarity of the sound and the video might be good now. So now we can start. With a small prayer, we will start our this wonderful evening. So sit comfortably, close your eyes and inhale deeply and exhale. Chant Om 3 times along with me. Om, Om, Om. Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shantihi. Dhyanamoolam Gurumurtim Pujamulam Gururpadam Mantramulam Gururvakyam Mokshamulam Gurukripa. Om Gurubhyo Namaha. With the blessings of the Divine and the Guru, we are going to talk about the mantra, yantra and tantra. These 3 words are very much interesting word. So whoever hears about that, the people will be very much get interested to know more about the mantra, yantra and tantra. So fundamentally, before going to know about what is the mantra, yantra and tantra, we want to know about why we want to know, like what is the need or use to know about mantra and yantra and tantra. Because these 3 words always revolves if whoever is being a seeker and they are being in a spiritual seekers and they are trying to understand some spiritual context, then neither it can be a mantra or it can be a tantra or some time of this kind of a yantra or mandala will be coming to their friend and they will feel, okay, so what is this new terminal words? And the technical words will be give some kind of different meanings. So today evening we are going to discuss about what is the mantra, yantra and tantra. Why we need to know. So what is the importance of the mantra, yantra and tantra? We can explain technically in detail, but apart from that, why we want to know about it. That is very important in our discussions today. So the mantra means, this is the mantra. Okay, so there will be some kind of mantras which sometimes people can understand, some people can't understand. There will be a sound and the people will praise the god or they might chant. So this is the called mantra, right? And that yantra means there will be some kind of geometrical shapes, can be a circle, square, triangles and much more. So that will be in a geometrical form or we can say in an art form. And tantra means what? That is always a very big puzzle compared to the mantra and yantra, because the tantra means it's, you can see, simply translate in a language way. That is, tantra itself can easily translate it, means mystical or technical. So that is the reason the Tantra is always being a very big puzzle for the people. Here, the kind of understanding about this mantra, yantra and tantra. So before we want to know why we can need to understand about mantra, yantra and tantra. So fundamentally, as a human, we can understand about ourselves. So if you are understanding about your own self, then there will be a much improvements to be as a seeker. So understanding the higher energy or the divine or the universe or whatever, before understanding that, you want to understand yourself. To understanding your own self, that is the way to reach the higher dimensions. So here we can see we have ourself like a knower, and we have our five senses. Through the five senses only all the perception comes inside, and how we are perceiving the senses. So this is all kind of ideas. If you understand, then it is easy to understand your own self. So here, fundamentally, we can see there is a big gap between your perception and your understanding. So whenever you see something, it will go in a different way through your inner self, or we can say in our ideas or your knowledge. Because collective of knowledge already loaded in our brain, so our senses will only capture which is we already know. So this universe are having some kind of a different frequency vibrations. So our understanding and our five senses works in a different frequencies and understanding. So when we are connected with nature, very close to the nature, or we are resonating with the nature, our understanding is a different kind. At the same time, when you are having your own human understanding that is bit away from the nature, so our perception and which is our five senses are putting inside is completely different. So that is the reason we can say here the universe are created in the frequency which is called a sound frequency. It's everything is formed in the sound. So the Vedas explains that the entire universe and all the particle of the universe are in a form of sound. That sound which is called Omkar. That is called the sound of Om, we can say. So when the sound of Om created in the center of the universe, the entire universe are created and expanded, and it revolves and created all the kind of activities in the universe. A single sound, it's called Om, that single sound which created all the possibilities in this universe. So the seed of this universe is nothing but a sound. So everything is existence. All the dimension of this existence is in a form of the sound. But physical existence of the human, with our five senses, we are seeing and we are hearing a limitations of sound or limitation of the perception of this universe. So that is the reason I like to explain you that the sound of the universe, which is called Om, have their own creation, and its own, the sound itself creates, and the sound itself gives some kind of the manifestation, and the sound itself will transform all the things in this universe. But in our perception or our own self-inquiry, you can see there is no sound within. So if you close your eyes, you can able to hear the sound which is there around us, not within us. So this is the reason we can say the sound frequency is completely away from our own self-understanding. Here I want to explain you the sound which is created by the entire universe, that is called Om, that is the entire sound, which being a seed of the entire universe, and all the universal particles are moving in the form of sound. So, the sound, it's the origin, or we can say, or the seed of everything. So, to understanding the sound or knowledge about the sound is called mantra. Is it simple? So, to understanding the sound vibrations, what is the sound can make, what sound can create, what sound can do, and if you have the knowledge or experience, then it is called the mantra. So, if you see the sound, if you create some nowadays in the modern science, the people create, there is some kind of instrument. If you send a sound inside, a sound frequency inside or continuous sound inside, and you can pour some kind of a very small sand particles on the top of that instrument, that will create some kind of a geometrical shapes. So it means when the sound, which is only can be a non-physical existence, you can only hear, you can't touch and feel. So the higher frequencies of sound will create a physical existence. So the subtle sound creates a physical existence. So the physical existence is called Yantra. So what is the created by the sound is called Yantra. So the mantra is the universal sound, and the Yantra means which and all in universe there is a shapes or physical existence, that is called Yantra. And both this sound frequency and this physical frequencies to be managed, or it works together and create some kind of activities in this existence in a particular manner, that is called Tantra. That's it. So, if you understand the universal sound, which is called Om, we can say it's a Om, or we can define any kind of a sound which is created by the universe, because our human ears have a limitation. Consider that there is an aircraft is flying, it flies very far from here, so there will be no sound when you are seeing that, only the object moves. When that aircraft comes very close to your head, there will be a very big sound. Then it goes very far away from you, again there is no sound. So when that object comes very close to you, you hear the sound. And when it goes very far from you, there is no sound. It means that aircraft created the sound only at very close to you, and when it goes very far, then there is no sound. It means that aircraft doesn't create any sound. It's not like that. So our ear have some limitation to understand, and we can say to make that understanding of the sound. So we have some kind of basic limitations to understand the sound frequencies. So that is the reason we can see when you are understanding the sound completely beyond your limitations, then you can understand what is the reality or complete dimensions of the sound. So here I like to explain you in the way like very much understanding the universal sound, it helps us to understand our own origin. Is because I already explained you, the sound frequency is the origin of our own creation. So it is a seed. So if you want to understand yourself, then you want to understand the existence around you and the seed of that existence. Is it clear? So that is the reason to understanding about mantra, yantra, tantra is very important, because if you want to understand yourself, you want to understand that universal understanding, or we can say where we came from. So we are all come from the frequencies called sound frequency. So the sound frequency is the very important frequencies, and that is the origin of our own self, we can say. So from the Om only we all came, not only us, it's all the creatures and the universe and on the planets and the stars and much more we can see. So, fundamentally we want to know the Om is just a sound. Yeah, we can say it's a seed of the sound. How can it create this much great natures and things? So here only we want to understand the sound. The O is a part of the sound. This is not a starts with O and end with It's not like just O. So it's a very continuous sound which is called Om, like that we can say. So that is the reason I explained about the flight aircraft, which is come too close to you. So there is a sound. When it goes very away from you, there is no sound. So that kind of a small part of hearing, the universal sound is the very continuous sound. When you clip it and you are getting some kind of a small part of that sound, then in your human hearing ability, it sounds O. But actually, it is a continuous and very long frequency, we can say. So that Om, the sound we can say O, or the continuous universal sound, have a fundamental value. That fundamental value, or we can say a characterizations inside it. So that the Om itself constructed by three different sounds. That is A, U and Ma. When if you see A, U, Ma, there is a sound called A, U, Ma that together, or it resonates together, is called O. You can say like that. So the continuous sound of Om is always works with these three individual sounds, A, U, Ma. So when you see A, it starts with A and flows with U and ends with Ma. So this A, U, Ma, these three sounds together is completely called as a Om. So what is this kind of A, U, Ma can do that inside? So very simple. The A is nothing but a creation. When the A sound starts, all the A sounds are started vibrating in the space. Then the creations will happen. When the Ma sound comes, the transformations will happen. So the A sound is the creation, Ma sound is the transformation. Then in between there is a sound called U. That U sound will make manifestation and activities and actions and movements. So A, U, Ma, these three sounds will say as a normal sound, but at the behind it will be the sound creates the activity. That is the creation, manifestation and transformation. So the single sound Om is the only sound which exists in this universe. So several languages, several sounds and everything, this is all the sub part of the same sound. So if you take your name and you can break some one or two letters from that, and that sounds different, right? So like that, the sound of Om created in a lot of different combinations like A, U, Ma, the inner part of the sounds created a different subjects inside it. So fundamentally, that kind of sound only created as a languages and universal sounds and much more. So basically, we can understand that the Om itself only exists. So the Om itself called a mantra, or that is itself a mantra, or that only the mantra, or we can easily say apart from the Om nothing else exists. So in our the Vedic knowledge, we can say the Om itself a single sound which can be understood as a different sounds. So this sound of A, U, Ma creates all this kind of sounds, and the A is the creator and U is the manifestation kind of ideas, and Ma is the transformation, we already said. In these three kind of dimensions, only the existence are evolved. So whenever these three things are there, so our own self also reflects the same three dimensions. So the A, U and Ma is the three dimensions. It is same kind of things we can see, like inhalations we have in our breathing pattern, and we are holding the breath in our body and exhaling outside. So the same thing, we can see all our activities and our understanding, this three dimension or threefold of behavior we will get. So if you are awake, that is one state, and you are sleeping, that is another state. There is a trance condition between your sleep and awake. So this is the three conditions always exist in our consciousness. So the dreamy state, awakened state, or we can say the trance state, this is the three things we can see. And if you see some kind of existence, a time span, a past, present and future. And if you see like you are taking a food, then it goes inside and it will nourish your body and go out of your body. So everything have this threefold of activities. So this threefold of activities only exist in our consciousness. So because the consciousness itself in the form of Om, so it is automatically comes into our mind. All the things we can understand or experience on this threefold. In other way, we can also explain you that this Om have these three sounds, and the three sound is the form of this three activity. So we are also created by that same sound. So we are also reflecting these three experiences. So we can say this is called the three-dimensional thought process, or we are having a three-dimensional behavior. So it is because we are created by this three major inner part of the sound of Om. Now I think you might be clear about why we are having this kind of a three-dimensional activity or understanding. So this is because A, U and Ma. So if you understand these basics of the A, U, Ma, how it creates and operates us in our consciousness. So it is a kind of a seed, we can say. That's what it's called, bija or seed, or the sound of the seeds. So if you see there is a mango you have, and just you are having a mango, and after that you can see there is a seed left in your hand, and you are putting that into the soil and it grows, and later on after some several years again you will get some kind of a fruit in the same mango tree. Again you are consuming that, and you can see again there is a seed inside. So through the seed you created a mango, again that mango also has the same seed inside. Like that, this universe is created by the sound of Om, and in the universe the frequency of the sound is also created by all the beings. So the being also have the inside as a seed, which is called our inner consciousness, that is called Om. So if you are able to understand your inner sound, which is same, and understanding that it is resonating outside as well as inside is the same, that is the highest possibilities you can open up in your life. So when you are understanding the sound of universe and sound of yourself is having a same frequency and there is no differences, then you can understand, or you can just completely connect yourself with the nature. And there is no barrier between you and the nature or the universe, we can say. So that is called the highest possibility in the spiritual path. So when the sound frequencies are getting into the physical form, that is called the Yantra. So when you understand these physical possibilities, from the sound it can be created. So that is called Yantra, we can say. So in this basic idea of the mantra and Yantra, it is not always like a very spiritual or some kind of a very technical aspects of mantra and tantra. In everyday life, we are doing the mantra, yantra and tantra. So, and I like to have this kind of elevation of house, and this is my budget of the cost. So I like to construct the house. You are telling to the architect. So the architect is saying, okay, I understand your requirement. So this is what your expectation on your house. Okay. So later on, he make one small drawing, or nowadays they are using a computer and making some kind of a drawing. And in the drawing, he will just put some kind of a different kind of designs. In the designs, the living room, bedroom, kitchen, and dining room, and everything comes. So if he explains you with the paper, he says, this is the main entrance. In this way only you can enter into your house. And this is the living room, and this is the bedroom, and this is the kind of room which you can use for your worship. And this is the dining room, and it's the entertainment room, and like that he is explaining. So actually he explaining not a physical form, he is just explaining, yeah, just a drawing. But when you are seeing the drawing, internally it transforms a visual feel that you are already having a living room, you are already having a bedroom, you are having a puja room. Like that kind of understanding you will get in the mind. But actually it is all in the paper. But the understanding you got, then the architect, idea of the architect you will understand, and the design of the architect you will understand, then you will proceed to construct the house. Then it comes into the third important part. Then the architect says, to complete this house, and this much budget, and this much kind of a million you need. So, you say that, yeah, no, I can't afford this much money. I have only this much of my budget. So once you say about the budget, then the architect will thinking about that. And he said, okay, then we can reduce this and that and make it these possibilities, and we can achieve our work. So if you see this, the scenario which I explained you, when you explain to the architect in the beginning about you want to have a house and this much bedroom and this much square meter, so you verbally explain to him. You explain verbally in a sound form. So that is called mantra. After understanding the sound and the possibilities of the architect creating the possibilities, and this kind of the designs can be approached in a geometrical form, that is called yantra. So once you explained him as a mantra and he came up with the yantra, and you both are discussed how to achieve to construct a house in a budget which you have, and he made some kind of arrangement with his intelligence and in a smarter way to achieve your level of budget. That is called Tantra. That's it. So if you understand these combinations of mantra and yantra and tantra through this a small explanation, so there's the same thing happens in your spiritual journey. So the mantra is just explaining. So the connections should be established is called mantra. So because that is also the sound and inside also the sound. So it should be a sound to the sound you want to be get connected. So that kind of a sound is nothing but we can say a mantra. So sound to sound to be get resonated or connected. To be connection should be established, we can see. And once the connections are established, you will see the form within you or in your meditation or something more or spiritual process. That is called the yantra. And how to keep that kind of experience intact, or how to make this kind of experiences again and again, and you are trying to understand your own life and making that into the effective way, that is called Tantra. So the mantra and yantra and tantra is always there in a different forms and different possibilities. So in our life we can see the yantra and mantra and tantra looks like very far, but it is not. We are also in the form. So when we are created in this with a expression of our parents, like a help of our mother and father, we can see that kind of a combinations of that is called mantra. So once we get a form of our body, that is called yantra. And when it goes to the experience of the life, in a smarter way to achieve in your life, it's called tantra. So this mantra, yantra and tantra itself comes into the form, we can say, from the a, u and ma sound. So the sound of a, u, ma is some kind of creates the sound of a creates the mantra, the sound u creates the yantra, and the sound ma creates the tantra. So all these three dimensions are always exist in our day-to-day life. But apart from that, to create ourselves into the higher dimension or connect with the higher dimensions, we want to understand what is the yantra, mantra and tantra. So that is the reason I am explaining you about mantra and tantra and possibilities of understanding the universal sound and within you. So here I like to explain you a small idea. The mantra means it is which is flows within you. In a simple or technical ways, we can say a mantra means a sound which can be created in yourself from within you, and it gives some kind of an effect. There is a thousands of sound, but all the sound is not a universal sound, or we can't say that it's a mantra. So when the mantra means it should have an effect, and it should have a kind of an effect. If you are calling your friend and he is coming, then the calling between you and your friend itself called a mantra. In just way simple you can understand, because when you made a sound, the sound given a reaction. So the sound creates a reaction, then action and reaction means the sound is the action, and through that there is a reaction, is called mantra. It doesn't need any language, it doesn't need any kind of particular construction, because the universal sound doesn't have any grammar. But the only condition is the sound want to create a reaction. Without a reaction, the sound doesn't consider as a mantra. At the same time, the yantra. Yantra is nothing but, like we can say, a tool or the machinery. You are creating a machinery for a particular application. In the ancient time, people are stitching their clothes through their hands. And later on, to make it more clothes, so they invented a sewing machine. So the sewing machine is, we can say, is a yantra. So any kind of mechanical instruments or any tools which help you to understand or do some kind of a process again and again in the same manner. That is the reason the humans are inventing the tools, right? The same consistent way of reproducing the things. So the mantra sometimes can be in a higher frequency or lower frequency. To do the consistent of sound of the universal sound, if you are creating a geometrical instrument, that is called mantra. Through the mantra, the yantra will resonate. So the yantra will keep the consistency of resonating mantra. It's like an instrument or a tool to resonate it. Hope you understand. And you very effectively you create this instrument like a very smart way. Nowadays everything has become very smart, or we can say it's like everything is like a AI, like that, right? So like that, all the things, if you are making a very advanced and very smart to achieve your upliftment, so that is called Tantra. So the instrument which resonate the mantra in the same frequency with a complete idea and effective way. So in this combinations are called mantra, yantra and tantra. To more about and to understand this, we can have some kind of a very deeper session to experience the mantra, experience the yantra and experience the tantra. So here I just like to explain you a technical background of the mantra, yantra and tantra today. And this is a small evening we are sharing this kind of different understanding. The mantra means what, yantra means what, how to make this both effectively as a tantra. So these three things we understand, somehow I think we are get a clarity about. These are all the three major tools to improve in our spiritual seeking and upgrade ourselves into the higher dimensions. Because that is the major reason for these three tools given from the universe. So these three tools are there. If you are doing some particular mantras, you are chanting a particular mantra continuously, then you are connecting and establishing the connection between the universe. And then you are using some kind of a yantra to do this kind of a process in a consistent way, then that will help you to uplift in a very easy way. Like you are doing a mantra is a manual process, we can say, but you are putting some kind of instrument to add your values and make it more easier at the same time in an effective way. So like how we are walking from one point to the other point, and we are having some kind of a instrument which is called vehicle, then you can easily go from the one point to the other point, and we will make some kind of a effortless approach. So that kind of a smartness is called tantra, and compared to the walking, you are taking some kind of a vehicle is called yantra, and the purpose of your travel is called mantra. So in a higher spiritual path, we always want to understand that we have our own sound inside. To find that sound and make our own sound as a mantra, as a frequency, to establish our connection with our source. So where we came from, where we are going to go, in between as a human, we are completely forgetting about the nature. To understand that nature, this mantra is very important. In upcoming days, in Singapore, I am going to conduct a wonderful session of workshop which is called Mantra Sastra. So the Mantra Sastra, you will understand more about what is mantra, how to choose your own mantra, and how to get initiated in that path of mantra, and how to chant the mantra for your own well-being. In this kind of a complete 2 days workshop, you will understand about the dimensions of mantra and need of mantra. Then you can do the kind of a spiritual practices and understand about your own self. So that being a spiritual seeker, if you are very much want to understand about mantra, this workshop will definitely help you. So here today in our YouTube, you are all watching our evening discussion about Yantra and Mantra and Tantra. And in the YouTube description, you can see there is a Google form link is given. There you can connect yourself for our upcoming programs in Singapore. From the 22nd of November to 29th of November, we have several programs in Singapore organized by Swami Omkar Foundation Singapore. So you can be connected with us and be part of that and understand our spiritual seeking path in more and deep. So in description I am given a Google form. You can enroll yourself and add yourself for our activities and broadcasting group. Then you will get some kind of a more in touch, and directly if you are living in Singapore, we can directly meet and share the more spiritual insight in upcoming days. And I am again thanking the Divine to give this wonderful opportunity for today evening to share the wonderful topic called Mantra, Yantra and Tantra. And I hope you all enjoyed and helpful for this evening. So I pray to the Divinity that we get some more support and this kind of sessions again and again to evolve ourselves. Here I am with the prayers, I am completing this session, and we will meet soon with a wonderful spiritual discourses in future. Thank you.